Start now. Hi guys, it's Melanie Pierce from London, Ontario. I work for LePage Triland, and I'm here to introduce one of my neighboring agent friends. I say neighboring because our towns are nearby, right?
Just on the
Jen,
highway.
I'm gonna let Jen introduce yourself, where you work, what your area is, and what's your bread and butter in this business in regards to commercial or residential. So go.
Hello, I'm Jen Anderson, and I live and work in Stratford. So I service Stratford and surrounding areas, predominantly here on Perth counties, towns like Mitchell, St. Mary's, Milverton, Tavistock, New Hamburg. That's sort of my draw circle, 45 minutes from Stratford, and that's where I go. Um, the majority of my business is residential. I do some commercial. I have a couple commercial listings, leases right now, but predominantly it's residential.
Cool. Very cool. I'm just adjusting my light. It's right in my face. Um, how long you been doing this, Jen?
I am in my ninth year, which I can't believe.
I I remember the very first conference you came to. It was somewhere in the West. Now I'd have to guess. It was somewhere in the West.
Probably my first conference was the year I changed. I was with another company. I switched to Royal LePage in 2019,
Hmm.
and I went to Head Start in, was it Kamloops? Is that where I met you?
It could be. Yeah, I was trying to think of where it was, and I was like, I don't think it was Vancouver. That was bigger. This felt smaller and more.
Yeah, I've been to a few Head Starts, so
Exactly. I just remember being introduced to you and thinking, oh yeah, she's gonna do great. You could just kind of you can sense these things sometimes, right? So what do you do in particular? What do you think you attribute your success to? Is there something you do differently, or is it just hard work, nose to the grindstone? What do you got for me?
well, I definitely think it is a lot of hard work, and I do believe that what you put into it, you do get out of it.
Mhm.
Um, I am driven. I do think some life experience is helpful as well. I got my license when I was 40. Yeah, you can do the math if you want to. But my kids were old enough that it was easier for me to take off if I needed to go to an appointment or something. I say kudos to those people who do this with little ones because I don't know how. So that I think made it easier for me. And I do have a very supportive spouse as well, which I'm grateful for. And Yeah, just work hard. And, my best interest is always my clients, right? So I'm looking out for them, and people know that. They can tell when you're just hungry for money or whatever. But I want to make sure that my clients are taken care of. And then, of course, that spreads along. They had a good experience with you, they tell the next person, and that's how your business grows.
Yeah, it's a gut reaction. Like you want to give that, you want to do everything you can for your clients. And I think it's funny because when I see people who are all about the money, you can all but see it in their eyes and their action, and they're unaware of how they're kind of offending or not doing it right, right?
Yeah.
Like in
My
regards
clients
to a personal thing. I mean, the money comes once you're, doing the right thing. But if the first thing you're doing is looking after the people, it's a different feel. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
very
for sure.
rewarding. And I tell my clients all the time, I know that this is sales, but I don't feel like I'm a salesperson. I feel like I'm an advisor, and I'm here to help you. And if you don't want to buy this house, I don't want to sell it to you because you're not going to be happy. And that's
Yeah.
not going to help either, right?
Yeah. I honestly think that sales is different in real estate than most other types of real estate. When you're walking around with a buyer, for me, I feel like it's my obligation to point out some things that might be a difficulty for them or
Yep.
when there might be an issue, instead of saying, hey, beautiful house, let's, sign those papers, push, push, push. I think for us, it's a little bit opposite. It is opposite. I think maybe, if we really thought about it, we're not always salesmen, we're more consulting and
Yes.
advising, but it's not really pushy sales. It's just not. And if it
Exactly.
is,
Yep.
I think it's being done wrong. So,
Yeah, I
but
agree.
hey, I got a girl with I'm a girl with opinions, so it's true.
I think, I mean, it depends on the client, but I find a lot of my clients appreciate when I do point out things, that they may not know, if they're not as well versed in houses or construction or, it depends who they are. Because sometimes you're working with someone who has a background and, you let them do their thing. But then there's others that they want you to show them that there's knob and tube wiring or whatever the case may be, right?
100%. Yeah, you don't want to step on any toes when you have someone knowledgeable there.
Yeah.
They're looking at you going, "Shut up, I already
Right
know." And you
now.
go,
Yeah.
"Okay,
I know more than you.
okay, I'm okay with shutting up. Glad to know you know. I'll be calling you later for advice if if you're knowledgeable in that way." Yeah, I agree, 100%. So, in the past, have you had any deals or instances in real estate that you go back to and go, "Oh my God, that was so funny. That was so bad. That was such an emotional moment." Do you have a story like that?
I could write a book, and I probably should, except I want to protect the privacy of my
The
clients.
innocent?
Yeah, I joke about that all the time, but I'll tell a positive story.
Okay,
Um,
I
because
like that.
there's many stories, I'm like, why does this happen to me? I don't know why I'm the one that gets all these situations. But anyway, um, about a year and a half ago, some friends of ours were looking to sell. And we had the photos all ready to go. Things were moving along, but we had a really hard time finding what they wanted. And they weren't going to list their house until they had found something that they wanted to buy. That was their situation. And three doors down from them, the people found out that they were interested in selling and said, we might be interested in your house. So they called their realtor and we ended up doing a house swap. And that was the
Ah,
first and only swap I've ever been a part of. But
ooh,
it never
spicy.
would have worked if it wasn't those two people, because the other people weren't looking to sell. This house just happened to be a really good fit for them moving up, and my clients wanted something smaller. And the other couple, yeah, they didn't want to list it because they had little kids and that would be a nightmare for them.
Hmm.
So the only way they would have sold is if they sold to those people. And after we all, did our showings and did our due diligence, we did a house swap. Now it was a little interesting on closing day because we had to close both houses on the same day
Right.
because where do they go,
How
right?
else are you gonna do it? Yeah.
Moving trucks and everything on the street all at the same time, but it all worked out and
I
everything.
can just see carts going back and forth, right?
Yeah.
Just pull it down. Just use a
And
cart.
so
It'll
close.
be
It was
fine.
literally three doors down the street. So some things, you could just walk it down the street.
Oh, I love that one. I love that story. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. So, who do you call family? Who's your family? I always say that because people have different makeups of family.
I think family are the people who love you. It doesn't need to be a blood relation. I wholeheartedly believe that. I have people in my life that I'm not related to, but they are very close to me and I cherish them. And I think, yeah, I won't say any more about that, but yeah, family are the people who love you.
Exactly, exactly. So, well, and more defining, you have a husband.
Yes.
You got some kids?
I do. I have two kids. They're 21 and 19. So I have one still at home and my daughter is just finishing university, which is also crazy.
It is crazy because I never see you as a person who's old enough to do that. I know it sounds like a compliment and you want to push back on it. I'm just saying that's the fact. I never see you as a person who can have kids that old, but good for
Well, thanks.
you. I mean, what university?
Well,
Ah,
yeah,
wow, the
great
hippies.
school.
I
Great
love
school.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, that's awesome. So this is a few all over the place questions coming up. Do you have a favorite place on earth?
Oh, wow. That's a good one. Where I've been at least so far. Last year we went to Italy and Greece for the first time, or I should say Europe for the first time. We went to Italy and Greece blew my mind.
Oh,
We went to Santorini and it was just spectacular. Probably the most beautiful place I've ever seen. Um, Now we purchased a place out in Prince Edward Island a few years ago, and so that's more close to home, but it's kind of our peaceful place. It's very quiet there. We're on the
yeah.
water, and it's like you just hear the fridge humming. You know, it's
Yeah.
very, very quiet.
Yeah.
So if I want just peace and quiet, that's where I would want to be. And I'm just also happy just to sit in my backyard by the pool in the sunshine if I have the time.
Yeah.
Um, you know, because as you know, as a real estate agent, it's I find it hard to go away. I've gotten better at it over the years, you know, having things in place to help me and a team and so forth. But it's hard to get away. So just to even be able to have a half an hour or even, you know, half a day or whatever to just relax at home is nice too.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I feel that. That's good. That feels like you're comfortable where you are and where you're at in life, which is lovely. You can hear it in your voice. So you mentioned your team. How many in your team? What's the makeup of this?
So we just started a team a year ago, last January, and I have one other agent with me. His name is Jamie, and he's been in the business, I think he's in his fourth year. So he was already licensed when we teamed up, but I thought he would be a great fit, and he is. And we also have an assistant, so it's just the three of us. I call us our small but mighty team.
Hmm.
Um,
Yep.
but it's a good group of people, and we're just seeing where this all goes.
That's good. That's cool. I had noticed there was a change in photos, and I don't know when I noticed that, and I went, "Oh, I think she's going team." I didn't,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like it didn't seem like you had announced it necessarily. But I just started to see it. So that was cool. If you could have dinner with anyone dead or alive, who would that person be?
Oh my
You can pick
gosh.
a cartoon if you want. I don't care.
Wow. Um, that's tough. Okay, the first thing that comes to mind is maybe my grandma.
Yeah.
She passed away 3 years ago, 4 years ago, at the age of 95. So I had a grandma for a very long time.
That's a good
Um,
solid age.
and I mean, obviously, it's because she was in my life a long time. There's not a lot that was left, but real quick story here. I live in a century home, and she remembers being babysat in my house
Oh, that's
years
so
ago, which
cool.
is crazy. And just this past year, my husband found a sealed envelope in our basement on some ductwork. It was like in great condition, and yeah, it was sealed. And at first he thought, here it is. This is my chunk of money that somebody left me. But
Good luck with that, buddy.
it had paperwork in there that was in perfect condition, and it was a driver's license of a man that used to live in this house. And he was in the 70s. It had a driver test report and all the things that he had done wrong,
Ah,
and a bill of sale paying off his Buick, whatever car he drove.
that's so
And it was in
brilliant.
perfect condition. And I honestly, we went on a bit of a research, you know, trying to find who this person was, and we found him online and whatever. And I just thought I'd love to be able to ask my grandma if it was the people that she knew in my house, or you
Right.
know, just like that. It's just such a small world.
That's
It's a cool
amazing.
thing
I
to
feel
find.
like if it were me, and you tell me if you did this, did you start, looking up in the attic and looking in rafters? And when you do a reno behind the walls, were you looking? Because I know I did my ex-husband and I did some renos in our very first home. And I remember us leaving newspaper in there. Occasionally we'd leave in if they had a time sensitive beer, the label would say this year celebrating something or other. We'd throw it in
Yeah.
the wall. Did you do any of that searching?
Um, this just happened this year, but what's shocking is we've literally uncovered every stone in this house. Like I've lived here 24 years. So it was shocking to find something after all this time, but we
Okay.
have over the years definitely found other things as well, like old coins, or we found this, I forget what they call them, but like a visitor's card when they come over to visit you in your den, and it's like for company, and it's got the person's name and
Oh,
in
isn't that interesting? Almost
coolest
sounds
thing.
like a dance card. Like,
Kinda. I don't know. It's
that's that's bizarre. That's really different. I've never heard of that. That's cool. That's
yeah,
cool. And Stratford has a beautiful century homes.
lots
Like
of old.
it's
Yes.
one of my favorite things, in the summer out riding and circling around in Stratford. It's lovely, right? I mean, I love a good neighborhood. I love a good, you know,
Yeah.
building architecture.
Great place to live. I have to say, sometimes I forget how great it is, just being living in a place for so long. Um, I have to make a conscious effort sometimes to go into some of the local shops and do my shopping here. Because it's just you get busy doing your
Well,
having life,
you get busy with life.
work
Yeah.
and whatever. But we have great shops. We have so many great restaurants, which we go to often.
Hmm.
Um, it's beautiful. There's a river that runs through it, and we have theater, of course, lots to do.
Yeah, and I have to say, like, I'm often going through your area, and in the summer more than ever, because I'm not really a winter girl. So, you could probably pack me up, throw me in the cave, and I'll come out in spring. But in the summer, we're often out in Stratford, like between motorcycle groups
Yeah,
and or the theater chicks that I come out with to go to the theater. And we've already said there was a few things we're going to see this summer. So I'll be in your area again.
well, I'm gonna have to put in a bit of a plug here because
Hmm.
my fundraising efforts for Cambodia, which
I
we
was
can,
getting on that.
I'm going to do a fundraiser that involves a show. So you'll
Oh,
have to come.
good.
We're
Oh,
going to see 30 Rotten Scoundrels.
oh, awesome. Because that was one of the ones on the list that I thought would be
Good.
super fun, not heavy, right? Like some of them can be heavy. So I like to go to the ones that are fun. Okay. I'm there and I'll bring people. I'll bring
That's,
people. Some
I
of my
love it.
people. So what is your favorite, pastime, hobby, sports? You can have more than one. I'm just digging.
Okay. Well, like you, I don't like winter either. I am a summer person. I was born in July, and I say that was for a reason. I just love the sunshine. Anywhere where there's ocean, water, that's where I want to be, or a beach. Um, so yeah, I love to travel when I have the opportunity. But I don't know, I think I'm fairly easygoing that way. Yeah, I'll just go with the flow.
Yeah, absolutely. I love to travel too. So I get you there. I'm gonna check out Greece now because I am looking for something. Um,
Oh, it's amazing.
yeah, yeah. So 3 words. Can you take 3 words to describe yourself off the top of your head, real quick? I love it when it's quick because it's right.
Okay, I'd like to say I'm friendly.
You are?
I'm definitely an extrovert. I like to be around other people. I like to have a good time. Um, I am hardworking,
Mhm.
and what else am I? This is where I need to find my friends. What am I? What am I?
Yeah. Well, I
Um,
think you have 3 there, but if you have another, I'll take it.
well, what else did I
I think
say? I
you're
said
also
friend.
would you say you're goal oriented? Are you that person too?
Yes, yes, it is definitely helpful for me to set goals, and I find that I'm more likely to achieve them when I do that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not necessarily that type of person, but if I can see the goal and then implement just
Yeah.
steps, I'm more the step person. I'd like the regular, let's just do this, let's go forward. And I usually get to the goal, but I pay no attention to it
Yeah.
as I'm moving towards it.
Yeah. And I like to challenge myself too. Like one of my mottos in
Yeah,
life,
there.
I would say is if it scares me and excites me, then you should probably do it. And usually, not always, but usually when I take a challenge, I'm glad that I did. I don't,
100%.
and I learn from it. We learn from the things that stretch us and the mistakes that we make.
Yeah. I think I heard this a while ago. I really like this quote, and I'm going to misquote it so loosely. It says, all the best things in life are beyond fear. So, there's times when someone says, "Hey, we're gonna do this scary thing." And I go, "Do I want to do this?" And whatever. And I usually say yes anyway, even though I have the fear. And it ends up that experience has just expanded my world so much. Such good vibes from that.
I will even say when I got my license, I was terrified. I didn't know how this was going to go. I didn't know if I could do it. Um, luckily I had people in my life that they saw potential in me and gave me the encouragement that I think helped me make the final decision. But I quit my job and jumped into this full time. And I did have an opportunity to do something else in my previous field, very casually that would have given me some financial security, but I didn't take it because I thought if I'm going to do this, I need to jump in with both feet and really give it my all. And that's what I did. And I'm really glad I did that.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad you did that too. Yeah, and Barb was so happy to introduce you when you first. She was so excited about you, and she had a right to be. She saw what everyone else sees, right? So I'm going to ask you. This is a two-tier. What is the nonprofit that you support? But in saying that, I want to talk about your upcoming Colombia hike. I'm super jelly on this one. I've always wanted to go to Vietnam and Cambodia. Um, but I'll go with the motorcycle crew next year. So tell me about Cambodia, what you expect, what you're doing in fundraising, how people can get a hold of you and throw money at you, darling, for
Thank
this.
you. I appreciate that very much. So my first trek was Ecuador. So I did that in 2023 and I was terrified. No, I shouldn't say terrified, but I definitely had some fear around it because it was an unknown thing again, right? But scared me, excited me. I thought I should do it. And honestly, one of the biggest things I was afraid of was the fundraising. It was daunting to have this minimum, goal of $6,000. I didn't know if I could do it. And I quickly learned that people in my community, and especially in Royal LePage, are very generous people. And I hit the goal no problem, and I exceeded it. And I think I ended up around 12,000. So this time I've set a goal for 15, which again scares me, but I am confident in the people in my life and around me
Yeah,
that I reach that goal.
yeah,
As I mentioned, I am planning a fundraiser which will involve a show in Stratford, and um, the main pickup will be in Toronto, and there'll be a bus that comes this way, but anybody can come. I have tickets for people that don't need the bus. And then we'll have some drinks and snacks at my house. It'll be a whole day event, and that'll be to fundraise for the Shelter Foundation. Currently, if anybody wants to do this, I have Land a Grand going on, and I still have about half my chart available. If you want to pick a number, it's $20 a square. And once it's filled, I'm going to draw a number, and $1,000 will go to the winner, and $1,000 will go to Royal LePage Shelter Foundation. I'm fundraising for our local shelter, which is Stratford Optimism Place. They've been very supportive as well, and actually just recently did an interview with me that will be in their newsletter. So I'm hoping that get some support from that.
oh, you're in front of the camera a lot right now.
Well, that was more of an email type situation, but anyway, yeah, just it's still early days, but I know I have a lot of work to do, and I am definitely counting on the people around me to help me reach my goal. So.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And it's a real feel good thing to do. I I love doing that part of it. And it's the same thing for me when my first hike was Sahara. And I remember being on the phone with Carly when she phoned and said, you're in if you want it. And I was like, but the fundraising, I'm so scared. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to. And it was 5,000 then. And in the end, um it was absolutely fine. I don't remember how much I ended up raising. I think for that one it was maybe somewhere around 9,000. Sahara was, I don't think I hit 10, but uh it felt daunting, but in the end it wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
You just keep on plugging, you come up with ideas, you get creative. It's lovely, right? And are you excited about seeing Cambodia?
Very excited. Yes. I was in China when I was 20 years old. I spent a month there. So I was in that part of the world, but that was a long time ago. And I'm very excited to go there. Probably will do Vietnam or Thailand or something afterwards as well while I'm there. But no, I'm extremely excited. I'm sure the heat will be interesting. All the gear that I bought for Ecuador was like had a -30 down sleeping bag because we didn't know if it would be freezing at night or whatever. And we did wake up to frost most days, but then it warmed up. But this is going to be a lot different. And so I
Yeah.
might need some different gear.
Well, and when we were in Colombia, there was something I suddenly learned. It was something I knew from a previous vacation I had been on. Um, and so I tried it and it worked. So this is your advice for hot. If they hand you a cold water anything, drink most of that and take the last bit of it and pour it right down your spine. Um,
Okay.
I I spent about 2 days fighting off heat exhaustion in Colombia. And if it wasn't for throwing cold water down my back, I would not have made it those 2 days. It was really
Same.
extreme. Yeah, the heat, there was two kinds of heat, right? There was
Yeah.
desert heat. That one affected me really badly. From our area, the humidity gets high. In the humid heat, there was some other people who really were feeling it, and it wasn't terribly bad for me. But I mean, we generally just spent most of that challenge just hot, just hot, and overly hot at times. So
Yeah.
take that
Just
in
accept.
consideration. Pour that water down your spine, and you'll go, oh, she's right, and I'm.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome. Um, Okay, so you have movie stuff coming up and what have you. Send me your donation page. We'll make sure that we put it up on the underneath the video so that everybody has direct, so they don't have to go looking for it. We don't want them to work too hard for this. And I want to thank you for doing this interview. Just a
Thank you.
reminder, Jen works in Stratford, and that's where you can find her if you're looking for a century home in
Yeah.
beautiful Stratford, Ontario.
Well, I appreciate you asking me, and I hope that you have a great day.
Thank you. I hope you
I'll
have a
see
great day.
see you at my fundraising event.
That's right. That's right. I'm coming to that for sure. I'm so excited. That's going to be awesome. Now I don't have to worry about going, how are we going to fit this in, ladies? Now I know it's going to be that day
I'll
you
send you
pick.
the
So
info.
okay, awesome. Thank you very much. And we'll talk soon.
Thanks, Melanie.
Yeah, take good care. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.